Now these are the absolutely best cinnamon rolls you have ever tasted. Now they're not the easiest, but they are the best. But you'll have to first make sure you've watched the previous video on making honey sourdough bread.
Welcome to Homemade Cooking in Texas. I'm Carolyn Gibson from Dogwood Gardens, where homemade cooking is surprisingly easy, healthier for you and your family, saves money, and tastes great. Come join me today as I share my favorite recipes, and I hope they will become your favorite recipes. And don't forget, like and subscribe to my channel.
Now honey sourdough cinnamon rolls begin with the honey sourdough bread. Now if you've not already watched the video and made this bread dough, you will find the link to the recipe in the description box. Now in this video we're using 1/3 of the recipe. Now after you have done this, you're going to make your cinnamon sugar filling, and then you're going to grease your pan.
Okay, I'm ready now to make my cinnamon sugar filling for my honey sourdough cinnamon rolls. Now I have a 1/2 cup of coconut oil. You could certainly use butter. I have a 1 1/3 cup of brown sugar and 4 tablespoons of cinnamon, because we want a lot of cinnamon taste, a lot of cinnamon flavor in this. And I'm just kind of crumbling it up with my hands to make a like a little streusel topping. Now there's no need to get out the food processor or anything like that. This is just going to work a lot better just using your hands. Now for those who think they would like to use the natural raw sugar or the sucanat, it's going to make your filling really crunchy. I cooked these in a 9x9 cake pan because I was using 1/3 of the recipe. Now I could have also used one of these little sheet pans, and they would have probably cooked it just a little bit faster. But if I were doing the whole recipe, I would have used a full one of these big sheet pans for the entire recipe. Okay, now if you remember when we made our bread with the sourdough batter, and we also made our rolls. And you notice that I said I'm going to put part of this dough aside. And I put it in the refrigerator, refrigerated overnight, and now I'm ready to show you how to make some cinnamon rolls. So you don't have to, once you've done all the mixing and letting it rise and all that, you can put it in the refrigerator and use it within a week when you really have time to do this. Now I'm just going to I've put some flour on my work surface. So remember we were using bread flour, so I've put bread flour down. And I'm just going to kind of knead this a few times. Now I've let it set out 15 to 20 minutes, but it's still kind of cold. I'm flattening it out with my hands, and I'm going to get my rolling pin. Now if you had used the full, I used like 1/3 of it for my bread and another 1/3 for my rolls, so now I've got about 1/3 of it for my cinnamon rolls. Now I'm going to want to just roll this out into a rectangle. Okay, now this is enough brown sugar and cinnamon filling if we'd made the whole batch. So this is only like 1/3 of it, so I'm only going to use about 1/3 of this filling. So I'm just going to sprinkle it on here. Just kind of spread it out. I want to get to, about within 1/2 inch of the edges, because I don't want it poking out. You can tell I like quite a bit of filling in my cinnamon rolls. I don't want a hint of it. I want a lot of it, because I want these to really be good. Just kind of press it down in there. Then I'm just going to start rolling it. Keep all that filling in. I'm going to have to kind of pinch the sides as I go to keep it from coming out. Down where the middle's not thicker than the other part. I'm just going to just to get these, keep these even. I'm using a knife to cut it, and I want about an inch, each one to be about an inch wide. So I'm going to do like that. I've got my pan already greased. I'm going to start putting them in there. Got these little cinnamon pieces. I might as well just kind of sprinkle that in there. Not let it go to waste. Now I have melted some coconut oil, or it could be butter, whichever one you're wanting to use. I'm just going to kind of really dab that on real good. Because once more I'm going to put wax paper on this, and I don't want it sticking to the wax paper. So I'm going to liberally dab this coconut oil on, or melted butter, whichever one you would want to use. Okay, now I'm ready to clean up my mess. You notice I put parchment paper down. That makes it so much easier. I could have used wax paper, but wax paper is not as wide, and you have to use, you have to kind of double it up. So this just makes cleanup so easy. I'm ready to cover it with wax paper. Now we're going to let this set. It's probably going to take at least an hour, maybe 2 hours. I want it to rise until it's double in size. So here we can see how big it is now. And we'll come back and check in an hour to see if it has doubled or not. It has been about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. It kind of depends on how warm your room is while you're letting your rows rise. Now I know these are ready because when I put a finger in there, the little hose stays there. So I'm ready to put them in a 350-degree oven. I'm going to check these after about 15 minutes for doneness, and just kind of keep an eye on them. I have 6 tablespoons of melted coconut oil, or if you're using butter, you could use butter. And into this, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla flavoring. And then 6 tablespoons of evaporated milk. Now, if you wanted to use cream, you could use cream. Okay, I'm using my wire whisk to mix the vanilla and the evaporated milk and the coconut oil together. Now I'm going to add, I've got 2 cups of powdered sugar here. I may just use 1.5 cups. I'm just going to have to kind of add it a little at a time and see how it looks. Okay, you can see how creamy that is. Okay, let's look at our rolls and see how they're coming. Oh, they look like they're golden brown. They kind of feel like they're done. I don't want doughy rows. So I'm going to use my thermometer to check the temperature on them. Okay, I'm going to pick one of the bigger ones here and kind of poke it in and see what temperature we get. I'm looking for 180. Or 180 degrees. I'm going to turn off my oven here. And I'm ready to frost it. Like I said, I'm not going to use the whole thing. Kind of a slow process. Get this spoon here, because we like a lot of icing. Say that's just about floating in icing, so we have plenty of it. Now these are just going to taste so great. I mean, you may have thought Cinnabon was good, but these are even better.
Now watch for my next video on making no-knead sourdough bread, which is just absolutely perfect for garlic bread and sandwiches. And I promise this recipe is going to be much easier and quicker to make. Thank you so much for joining me today at Homemade Cooking in Texas. These are my favorite recipes, and I hope they will become yours. Now if you enjoy these recipes, please like and subscribe so you can see more of these type recipes. We have been making a full-time living here on our organic farm since 1991. We need your support to continue our small family farm by liking and subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much.